Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Uh, sorry?
Hello.
Hello? You
Hello.
can hear. Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I'm fucking with you. I can hear you.
Okay.
What's up?
Hello. Uh, Thanks for having me on. Um, as I as I as I messaged you, I have a few you call them like questions and like clarifications on a few things.
Yeah, hit me up. Kill me.
So first of all, uh, during your uh, would you call the IMF like neo-colonialist?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that's like built into its structure? Like, would you say there isn't really a way to like fix it? I guess.
Not through the present economic framework. The International Monetary Fund was created to make other countries more amicable to Western business interests. If you follow the, and this is a liberal mindset, so they can't complain about this. If you follow the logic of self-interest, it would make sense that any economic institution built to, by Western business interests, to mediate the business interests of other countries would do so to favor the former. I think that's pretty standard, right? I mean, that's a standard of saying,
Hmm.
like, I think the CIA would work in the interest of the United States geopolitical interest. I mean, it follows naturally.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about those incentives, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. So overall, what would you say your opinion of social democracy is, and like social democrats in general?
Um, I mean, it's better than what we have here in the States, right? It's
Hmm.
certainly preferable to a bunch of alternatives. I think the issue is that social democracy initially was meant to be a way of sort of reforming one's way into socialism.
Hmm.
And over time, it's just turned into like the alternative to socialism. In a way, social democracy has turned into a kind of modern third way movement where, social democrats are like these insufferable fucks who straddle the fence post between capitalism and socialism.
Hmm. Um, yeah. So you would say that yeah, it's better than what we have in the U.S. But would you say like it would be like a good path to socialism or?
Well, I mean, historically, it hasn't been. Because, all these social democrat parties in Europe, they used to be proper socialist parties that were just using social democracy as a sort of a transitional measure on their way
Mhm.
towards socialism. But now social democracy seems to be the goal of many of these parties, which uh, seems a bit unfortunate to me, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess they have like an incentive to get the votes and just like kind of maintain the status quo at a certain point, right?
Yeah, well, being a socialist is hard, and being a social democrat is, at least comparatively speaking, a good bit easier. So, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, so you kind of mentioned that like in your mind, what would be the best way to kind of accomplish like socialism?
I don't know if there is a best way. I think there are best mindsets. The situation is going to vary tremendously depending on the country and time period. And, the same solutions aren't going to work equally well in all those different situations. With regards to like the modern world, I think it's pretty clear that the dream of some kind of global socialist revolution is not likely. I think the best thing that we can really do is weather the storm and keep the flame alive long enough for the internal contradictions of capitalism to bring the world to a screeching halt. And then we need to be the ones to propose a better solution after things start to get put back together. Better than the fascists at least, because they're going to be the next loudest voice.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, yeah. So speaking of speaking of that, like what are your what like what is your opinion on like this on like the Mexican Zapatistas?
Um, I've read a lot of cool stuff about them, but I haven't really looked into them. Because people in chat bring them up pretty often, and whenever chat tells me to look into something, I don't do it because I'm a contrarian. And they've brought
Okay.
them up so many times that even now, like 3 years in, I've still never even so much as looked at the Wikipedia article for the Zapatistas.
Okay. Personally, personally, I kind of think it's like a kind of a good thing to have like role models in a way, um, and like to have like kind of like to be hopeful, to like have like a goal in mind, I guess you'd say,
Hmm.
even if it is like super far off, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't disagree at all. Um, I think it's important to understand. I mean, having real life examples to pull your inspiration from is important. Um, I do think there can be a potential downside though, because there are people who get their head in the clouds and they stop thinking of the world as it is and only think of the world as it could be. And if you run too far down that road, uh, it's really difficult to pull you back to earth, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Oh, I'm seeing people in chat kind of asking like who I am. I'm just Archmage Index, a very small YouTuber making reviews on like games that are kind of left leaning. That also have to do with like LGBTQ and like neurodiverse stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
chat for some reason, even though I said that I said on Thursday I have a debate with some like Nazi dude over whether or not porn is good. And you came on, they're like, "Oh, Nazi porn guy, Nazi porn guy." I just said it was on Thursday, and I'm pretty sure it's not Thursday today. But I've been wrong before. So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Just clearing that up.
thank you for clearing it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Nazis, as I did mention, I kind of used to be like a far right type person.
Hmm.
Uh, Not super proud of that, but I'm glad that I kind of moved away from that. That I did realize like that I was like LGBT, that I was like trans as well. So
Oh, Pog. Oh yeah, wait, what are your pronouns?
oh, she they.
There you go, chat. Oh wait, sorry, I banned some people for spamming pronouns. Let me, uh, is it free pronouns? Is that the, no, is it free pronouns? Is that it? There we go. There we go. I freed them. All right. They've been vindicated.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Go subscribe to my channel. To support trans people, and if you don't, you're transphobic.
True.
Actually, um,
Extremely true.
extremely. Um, yeah. Speaking as a far right person, I do think it's very good of you to like put up content, and I do think your debates with far right people like uh, have an effect, so to speak. Although I personally wasn't, I personally like moved stopped being a fascist before then. I do think it's good to have like debates against fascists, so there are arguments like against far right ideas out there. Um, you know,
Yeah, well,
and
I'd like to think
especially
so. I mean, we have the easy
yeah,
part, don't we? Our argument should be easy to make because we're not
yeah,
fascists. It's like,
exactly. Oh, yeah, hopefully, yeah.
yeah, it should be easy. You know, relatively speaking, at least.
Yeah. Um, and also regarding like your PragerU stuff, I do think it's good to have that kind of ecosystem built up, kind of like kind of as a bulwark to like prevent people from only like if like for example if someone searches up like PragerU critical race theory or whatever and like find your videos as well as the PragerU video, then I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I my issue with the online left for a really long time was it felt like very little work was being done to it felt like very little work was being done to meaningfully counter a lot of the more combative narratives that were being posed by the right, you know. Like we'd make our little uh media analysis videos and video essays and all that crap. But there wasn't much in the way of debate. there wasn't much of the way of direct engagement. I feel like that stuff is really, really important, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's gotten better. It's better now than it was back then. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would you would know better than I would. I'm pretty new to to all this.
How old are you? Like, were you even politically conscious back when a lot of this was more of an issue?
Well, I'm like 20 today, but like if you like I was like a far right type when I was like 16. I didn't really use YouTube that much politically. By the way, do you know about like ifunny.co?
I'm familiar with its existence.
Yeah, basically kind of like it's like kind of like a meme website that very subtly has like far right elements to it, and I got radicalized through that kind of.
Is it subtle? I've seen some of the posts there. A lot of them about me.
Well, looking back on it, I don't really spend much time on there nowadays, to be honest. But anyway,
maybe not so subtle in retrospect, but I get it. You know, that was another one of the things that really led to a lot of people being radicalized. The left aren't very funny. Now, mind you, ifunny.co is not funny. I've seen what passes for funny over there. Okay, I'm not giving them that, but. I do think that, you know, there's this impression that on the left, if you want to be, you know, a member of the club, you have to basically give up comedy, you know, especially like edgy comedy, which is really popular with younger people. I don't think that's true. At least, I don't think that's true necessarily. It's certainly not the case in my community. Definitely a stereotype worth fighting against.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would say like the left, like on social media is like pretty bad. I think, especially on like Twitter and stuff. You know,
How
I just
so?
think broadly speaking, I think like like individual people, I guess more so like kind of push people away. You know, like by for example. For on Twitter, I do feel like it is a bit of a, like, people will just, like, you know, like, cancel culture is kind of a thing, I guess. In the sense that, like, people will kind of dogpile you pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is just, like, the moral puritanism. You know, people who are, like, legitimately afraid of making, like, the wrong joke or whatever, because they know that if people don't like it, it's not just gonna mean people don't like the joke. It's mean they're going to infer from that bad joke, you know, you're a racist, you're a sexist, this, that, or the other, and people can lose their community attachments over stuff like that, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I mean, I know you've had a bit of a bad experience with that as well, right?
I can't complain too much.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, mostly because I'm doing well enough that stuff like that can't really bother me.
Oh yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're like pretty big, so.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, for now, all things come to an end eventually. But yes, for now, it is definitely not as much of a bother as it could be. But there are plenty of people who aren't that lucky, who might be quite severely affected by that behavior on the left. And it definitely puts a lot of other people off. So, definitely best to do something about that.
Yeah, like overall, like I think you've done a pretty good job of like fostering a community that doesn't really go for that. I think, which is good.
Try, yeah. I try.
I do have kind of one question. How long, or roughly how long did it took for you to kind of quote unquote get big, as it were?
Well, it depends on where you put the, you know, get big threshold. Yeah. It was really around the 2020 election that things really started to blow up for the channel. That was the time that things really expanded. Interestingly, you know, I feel like I'm more relevant than ever, in spite of the fact that view counts aren't as high as they were back then, I feel like there's a kind of lingering relevance that stays longer than people just checking out your videos because the election is currently ongoing. Not really sure. There's a lot of weird stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, and what's your opinion of NATO?
I think NATO's pretty the history of being pretty cringe. A bit of a mixed bag. Well, I think that right now, you know, Russian aggression is a real thing worth worrying about. So I guess NATO's existence is kind of self-justifying at the moment. I mean, obviously, NATO doesn't really exist to keep the world safe or any, you know, naive bullshit like that. It exists to preserve Western hegemony. I don't know. I mean, I guess I would much prefer it, you know, if the organizations that kept us, that kept people safe from the worst of things weren't themselves so goddamn bad, you know? But I don't really know. I don't know what the NATO does much these days, to be totally honest with you. Like, I don't know how much... I don't know very much about the actual, like, procedural functionality of NATO. Yeah, I can't really say.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah, like it does seem that it is kind of a bit like a bit of a bureaucracy at the moment. So I guess we'll just see what happens with Russia, right?
Yeah, we'll see. There are sources saying that Russia might be planning to invade the Ukraine, not the Ukraine, Ukraine. But I don't know. If they do, that would be really, really dumb for a number of reasons. So I guess we'll just have to see how things go. I hope they don't. That would be really bad for, like, the world, you know? Like, for the well-being of the planet. That would be really bad. So hopefully they stop with that. I'm humbly requesting they stop immediately.
Yeah, just, yeah. I guess we'll just see what happens, yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. Kazakhstan happened. I guess we'll see how Kazakhstan affects their behavior on the Ukrainian
That too,
front.
yeah. Yeah, I guess there's no way of really knowing, but just waiting, I guess.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. Hope we don't all die in a nuclear war.
Hopefully. That would be a bit of a bummer, I think.
It would definitely cut into my channel analytics.
Definitely.
I don't know if there's any coming back from that one. You ever played Kerbal Space Program?
No, I never did. I don't really. No, I'm more a Hearts of Iron 4 kind of transcure.
Really? What a remarkable adherence to stereotype. I was joking about that just earlier today with my friends, you know. That there are two types of transes, the Hearts of Iron 4 transes and the League of Legends transes.
Yeah.
That is remarkable. Well, you know, not that I don't adhere to stereotype in my own 100,000 ways, so certainly can't complain there. Are you by chance watching stream?
Yeah.
Alright, well, we're about to pull off a goddamn moon landing. No one's ever done this in Kerbal Space Program before. Not one. So this is
not one, huh?
Yeah. So this is actually really, really pivotal stuff.
Historic, some might say.
Oh, certainly, certainly. Oh man, we're gonna come down on the crater, I think. Oh, beautiful. I don't mean to come off as disinterested. I just think it's a special moment for us.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I do have autism too, so.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm going on about. I find this a very soothing game. That's what I'm saying now because I don't think that I'm going to crash. But if I do crash, my feelings will change. Okay, here we go. Anyway, did you have anything else in particular on your mind?
No. Those were like kind of all of my questions and like clarifications, and I guess just kind of keep doing what you're doing, and tell your people to subscribe to me.
Yeah, well, shout out your
And
channel
yeah,
again.
yeah, sure. So under Archmage Index, I'm just making some some queer little reviews of some queer little games.
Mhm.
Also some games that have to do with like neurodiverse themes and LGBTQ plus themes.
Well, that sounds
So that's
nice.
fun.
What was the last game that you what was the last game you talked about?
Hotline Miami.
Oh, I love Hotline Miami.
Yeah, I'm currently working on a review of Deltarune chapters 1 and 2. I don't know if you've played that.
I actually have. I have played both of those games.
Nice.
They are gay little games.
They are indeed.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time and hopping on.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's I think it's my duty, to platform, smaller channels,
Thank you.
doing you a bit of a favor.
Thank you for helping. Yeah, my flagging, career, keeping it
Yeah,
afloat for just a little bit longer.
yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah.
You have yourself a wonderful day. Okay.
Yeah. You too.
All right.
Have a good landing.
Oh, I will. We landed on a hill. We landed on a hill. Stop. 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 Oh my god, it's so oh my god. It's such an incline.
Oh shit.
I had no idea. It's like a 45-degree
shit.
incline. Are we just gonna slide the whole way? Is it not gonna tip over? It's just gonna slide? Oh, it's dragging the engine along the ground.
Shit.
Oh, thank God these landing things have a reactive. Oh my god, we're just gonna slide all the way down. Wait, we bounced! Oh, we're fine. I think we're gonna be okay somehow. I don't know if this is damaging the parts, but... Yeah, don't do time warp right now. God. It's literally just this one... The other two struts, or the other two landing gears aren't even on the ground. It's just this one. It's literally like... It's literally just the one... It's gonna tip over. The curve is too harsh. No, only one more half of a kilometer to go. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do this. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're gonna float our way down. That's what we're gonna do.
The world watches.
Okay, we got this. Okay. We're bouncing. We're bouncing. Okay, we're stabilized. I think we're fine. We're fine. Are we still over a slope? I think we are, but like a much lesser slope. Way lesser slope. Okay, we're still sliding, but very little. This is the slidiest goddamn moon rover or moon shuttle pod. Oh my god. It's like at 1 mile per day. Look at this.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Sliding to the left, 1 inch at a time.
Look at it's at least all 3 landing fucking feet are on the moon now. Look at the little Kerbals in the bottom right. They're so goddamn happy. Can you fast forward? If I fast forward right now, this thing is going to explode. It's gotta... This is so stupid. Okay, I'm fast forwarding. Can't warp faster than 1 times while moving over terrain. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Has it stopped?
No, it's still going. It's easy to tell when we're zoomed out and have the camera pan close to the ground. There you go. It's just following the damn thing. Look at that. Yeah, it's at 0.3 meters per second. Look at this. Oh! Oh! It slowed down. We're at 0.1. Yeah, shoot. Remember when people were like, oh my god, Vaush made Shu a communist? And I've spent the past 2 years disagreeing with you. Oh, oh! Wait, it bounced. Does that mean it's settled? Why are these landing feet so fucking slippery, dude? They, like, oiled them. Oh my god. It's still going.
Somehow.
Try and turn off SAS. Okay. Oh! SAS was trying to stabilize. That was keeping the back one down. Okay, yeah, we landed. All right, we'll let the girl out. Go. Long. How do you do the jetpack again? We have fuel. R? There we go. Boing. Boing. Boing, boing, boing.
No, this is the Vaush content I'm here for.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Now, of course, the greatest honor for an astronaut is dying on the moon. There is no greater honor. And there's nothing they desire more. Because you see, souls are trapped by gravity. So if you die outside the Earth's gravity, you're free. This is true.
As is well known. Well known.
As is well known. I actually don't know if you can die in creative mode, but we'll find out at a high speed shortly. Yeah, she chose this in her past life. Hold on. Alright, we're moving at 170 meters per second. So this would be lethal unless creative mode makes them invulnerable. Creative mode does not make them invulnerable.
Okay.
All
well,
right.
That's what science is all about, right?
Rest in peace, Valentina Kerbin. I am going to play some Fury. Thank you for hopping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take care.
Thank you for having me. See ya.
See ya. All right, that was fun. Here's their channel. Yeah, go to their channel, you nerds. Hotline Miami is a good game.